You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode is brought to you by Wisconsin Cheese. There's a reason when you think of Wisconsin, you think cheese. Cheese is a huge part of Wisconsin's history and future. In Wisconsin, the state of cheese, the tradition of cheese-making excellence began 180 years ago, before Wisconsin was recognized as a state. Immigrants traveled to settle in this lush green hills of Wisconsin, bringing their cheese-making traditions with them. These storied skills, combined with the freshest milk available, created a cheese-making culture that is uniquely Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 1,200 cheesemakers, many of whom are third and fourth generation, continue to pass on old world traditions while adopting modern innovations in cheese-making craftsmanship. Find your next favorite cheese at wisconsincheese.com.
I'm Peter Reinhardt, and welcome to Pizza Quest. We are at the International Pizza Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been here, with Liam, our producer, for the last 2.5 days, talking to a lot of interesting people, including two more very interesting people who are going to be carrying the banner of Texas for us in this episode. We're talking about not Texas pizza, but pizza in Texas, with Nicole Bean and Derek Sanchez, who both have two fabulous places. One in Houston. You're in Houston, Nicole. Derek is in San Antonio, where we first met when I was there doing a class at one of the cooking schools, and you had just recently opened.
We're in a food truck. We started in the food truck.
You were in a food truck at that time.
Down by the river.
And since that time, we have one of your recipes in the new Pizza Quest cookbook. So, and that is the Rita Bella Pizza al Taglia. Right? Am I saying Italia right? Do I say
the Roman-style pizza in a pan.
I always feel like I get the pronunciation of these things wrong.
You look good doing it, though, Peter.
I just play, I'll pretend. Yeah, I should just pretend that I'm saying it right. But yeah, it's a Roman-style pizza with, I think the most memorable thing for me about this pizza is, wasn't there a bacon... let's see.
Yes, it had smoked pepper bacon on it.
Smoked pepper, but we have, what do we call it? We give it a name. The smoked black pepper bacon, and then we mixed it with apricot preserves, and it turned into something like a marmalade, almost a bacon marmalade.
Right.
So anyway, it's a really cool pizza. It's beautiful. Well, I'm looking at the picture of it right now. So we'll get you talking about it a little bit. Nicole, I didn't have a chance to meet you and talk to you before this book came out, so we focused on people that I'd already interviewed before. So we got Derek in the book, but next time we have to get you in Pizza Quest number 2.
She's way more interesting than me, man.
So Nicole is an award-winning pizza maker, international. Both of you are on the Pizza Champions team, so you're competition makers as well as restaurant operators.
Right.
So let's talk about, first of all, we'll come back to this pizza in the book, and there's a lot of background noise because we're still at the expo, and of course, they don't care that we're recording right now. They just are on the PA system, and so, but it's not going to, hopefully not disrupt us, so we'll just ignore all that. So, Nicole, tell us about what you do in Houston, your place, and then Derek will talk more about your place, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. I have 2 pizzerias in Houston.
2.
Yeah, we do. We started as Neapolitan and launched Detroit-style pizza about 6 years after we opened.
Really?
And then now we serve 3 styles, New York, Neapolitan, and Detroit, as well as gluten-free.
So I'm going to come back to that in 1 second. Can you put this on pause? Can't pause it. You good? So, tell me about when did you get into Detroit style? About 6 years ago?
Yeah, about 6 years ago. We had a lot of, I guess, complaints rather than requests that there wasn't sufficient amount of toppings on our Neapolitan pizzas, which, as you know, Neapolitan pizza is not meant for a lot of toppings.
Correct, yeah.
There's a lot of education involved with, training our customers about what Neapolitan pizza is and how it should be eaten and so on and so forth. And we kind of got tired of telling people no, you can't have anything. And I wanted to tell people, yes, you can have whatever you want. So
thus,
yeah,
the Detroit pizza, which
thus the Detroit
loves
pizza.
toppings.
We thought it was quite interesting. We came about it through a demo that Tony was giving up in New York. This was before the Atlantic City show started. That was the first time I had actually met Tony, and my brother and I were up there, and he was doing a grandma pizza, and we were like, that's pretty cool. Like, that would hold a lot of new toppings. Like, that would hold sufficient amount of toppings that people couldn't bitch and complain about.
Right.
And then we kind of heard through the grapevine about Via 313 opening in Austin, and that was kind of our first time seeing these pan-style pizzas, and we felt like we were very unique in what we were doing at the time for Neapolitan pizza back in 2011.
Right.
And Detroit kind of fit our motto of just kind of, being unique and something different. We named our pizzeria Pizarro's Pizza. It's the word bizarre and pizza in one. So it kind of just fit our shtick.
Yes.
And it stuck.
So you were making the Neapolitan pizzas at Pizarro's.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually introduce the Detroit style pan pizzas at the same restaurant or a different restaurant?
Same restaurant. We had just before we launched Detroit, we had just opened our secondary location. Oh. And it was
another Pizarro's.
Yeah, it was much larger, like double the size. So we had plenty of room and space. So we started it there, and our original location remained Neapolitan for a couple years up until we could get out of our lease and move into a larger space and finally add it, which happened in 2018.
How do the sales compare now? Has the public come over to the square pies?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Now that we have 3 different styles of pizza, if we didn't look at it with like a lunch special, all 3 pizzas would be pretty equal all the way through as far as sales go. But because we do a lunch special specifically with Neapolitan, obviously Neapolitan still weighs a lot heavier. It's obviously the fastest pizza, so you get in, get out, get along your way and keep going. But we've had a lot of people. Detroit's picked up a lot in the last year even. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It's interesting, isn't it, how that style kind of got exposed to the greater public through shows like the Expo where people like Sean Randazzo were winning awards, and then all of a sudden now everybody's making them, and then Roman style as well introduced. At least I saw them introduced here in terms of, kind of going, aha, wow, this is a really cool stuff. And Derek, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the Roman style. Again, square style, rectangular pizzas.
We do. I kind of got away from Roman just because of the general population is very educated in it.
Yeah.
But we're using our Roman style dough for our Detroits. So it comes out really light and fluffy and airy.
And they're similar but slightly different in concept. But the Detroit's kind of what's got traction the most right now. Yeah. Roman is still waiting for that big breakthrough moment, I think, nationally.
I agree. I agree.
It's
I think it'll hit later, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Tavern is really going to be a
right
huge
now.
thing.
Doesn't it seem like
egging to do like Cracker Thin, and I've done several pop-ups in my store, and people still like ask when we're gonna do another one. Yeah. But for years I've been like, this is gonna hit, it's gonna hit big, and I'm just like waiting for it to happen.
And it is happening. Yeah, the tavern pizzas are happening big time, and when we say that, of course, by the time people hear this, they may already be But there was what was the article was syndicated all over the country. I don't know if it started in the New York Times or Chicago paper, but. Whether a tavern pizza is a Chicago pizza or whether it's a Midwestern style.
It's good. There's some dude out there going, I told you it would catch on in 2025. I've been doing this since 1982, right?
That's right. Yeah, and then there was Shakey's Pizza and Straw Hat Pizza back in the 50s. They were doing it way back then because the different terms they've gotten, like parlor pizza. Yeah. And then thin crust and bar pizza. Party cut with that square cut. Yeah. And then there's St. Louis style, which is not much different. It's in its own, it's in the similar category.
Oh, yeah. It is absolutely, it's still cut like in squares. The only difference with St. Louis is the crust is just like slightly softer than like a Chicago, but the Provel cheese is like really
That's good, right?
Oh.
Yeah. You guys like Provel? For a few years there, anyone who was not from St. Louis would kind of turn their nose up at Provel and go, oh, they use that horrible Provel cheese. And I'm going, what do you mean horrible? How horrible can it be? It's like provolone. It's what is it? It's cheddar. It's whatever it is.
It's a combination. It kind of blends with sweet. If you add some sweet on that pizza, it's really delicious.
It's back. Provel is back in a big way.
Yeah.
So it's funny what is old is new again.
Isn't that how it goes?
It seems that way.
I'm old. I'm feel new again.
You will constantly be new. We all have to keep reinventing ourselves anyway.
That's right.
You know? So, and that's the story of pizza. So you're focusing on 2 styles right now. Neapolitan and what's the third?
New York.
Oh, you're doing New York
Yeah.
style. And have you always done that, or did you bring that in somewhere along the way?
We brought that in about a year after the Detroit.
See,
So
we're
we
reinventing
kinda
ourselves.
saw, like, okay, Detroit went well. We can finally do New York.
And really, the public tells us where to go, right? Because they know what they want and what.
We knew where we needed to go, but we knew that if we went that route right away, we would no longer be Neapolitan Pizzeria, and it just made sense to wait and offer it at a later date and see how it went, because we didn't want to cut off Neapolitan. We're Neapolitan Pizzeria.
Yeah.
And, it was a transition that just made sense.
Interesting. And Derek, what style of pizza are you making at your place?
We do mainly New York, but we do Detroit's and Grandma's.
New York, Detroit,
and
and
Grandma.
Grandma. So that's another square pie, Grandma.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's coming back. That's coming in. It's just not. I can't say it's coming back. It's never gone away. But it was always, again, more regional, and now it's becoming
Well,
national.
fried bread with cheese is delicious, right? We're frying a bread in a pan.
In a pan.
Crispy,
That I think that's what
oily,
makes the Detroit pizzas
cheesy,
wonderful too.
right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a really hearty pizza. You can pick it up and eat it with your hands. It's
And-
delicious. You can put a bunch of toppings on it, right?
Yeah.
And your pizzeria is named Mia Marco's.
Right.
For our listeners, can you tell them where that name derived
I
from?
named it after my children, my daughter and my son, Mia and
Mia
Marco.
and Marco.
Not Marco's Pizza, Mia and Marco's. We're gonna have to change the name a little bit, tweak it a little bit, because we get a lot of people calling.
Because it's Marco with an apostrophe, right?
Right.
Marco's.
That's right. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna go to like Mia Marco's Pizzeria. We're called Mia Marco's Pizza right now. We're gonna mess around with the name so people don't confuse us with Marco's Pizza.
Yeah, because Marcos is the national Marcos gets very touchy about anyone using the name Marco.
Oh, we know.
And yes, as
You got
our friend
Almost.
as
We
our
gotta
friend
know
Mark
why. We're gonna
knows
see.
in Denver, a market at Marco's coal-fired pizza. He has had a fight going with them about
I'm gonna change my name to not Marco's Pizza.
and it doesn't matter if you had it first. If somebody's bigger than you, they're going to kick you around about it.
That's just so silly. I mean, like, the whole thing's like, it's literally someone's name. Like, you can't
I'm
coin
thinking of how
someone's
many
name.
sales did I get them.
You
They
know?
associate us. We're really good pizza, and then oh man, let's go to Marco's, and they go have their pizza. We've gotten some bad reviews, like, this is world class, right? I'm like, yeah, we're world. It's good
But
pizza.
they weren't talking about you. They were talking about another
Marco's,
place. Yeah.
That's why I want to kind of move around the name.
Well, we all know the story about how McDonald's did the same thing to the original McDonald's that was there years before McDonald's became McDonald's, and they were located somewhere in Southern California, and they made them shut down. They just harassed them legally until they had to give up the name, even though they had it first. So branding and names are kind of it's not fun to talk about because it's just a kind of a messy part of the litigious
It is,
American
but
society that we
it's
have.
interesting.
It is.
It unfolds a lot of really interesting things, and it really unfolds the way, like, people, like who they are as a person.
Yeah, true. So at Mia Marco's, you're doing
Detroit Grandma and New York style, mainly New York style, mainly rounds.
And are you in brick and mortar now? You're not in the
We
truck
are
anymore.
brick and mortar. Yeah, I'm
And-
not in a trailer down by the river anymore.
I know that was but it was a great launching pad for you. These I
Was
call
it?
the incubators.
Better than my garage.
Definitely
We started
better.
in
It
our
was
garage,
the
in our
next
house,
step.
dude.
Yeah, you
My
were.
wife said, "Get out of here! You're crazy. You got to quit selling pizzas out of our garage. You're a doctor, damn it. What's wrong with
That's
you?"
right. In fact, let people know that you are a doctor. In fact,
I am.
tell people about your medical background.
So I'm a PhD in research and evidence-based medicine, and then I'm a physical therapist. I'm a spine and joint specialist.
And are you still practicing? And
I am.
You still have
I am.
patients and clients? And
Plenty. I have a lot. So I do that, and then my side gig is because insurance companies don't pay us. My side gig is pizza, but my love is pizza.
Yeah.
My love is my wife, of course, but my love is pizza.
But your
And,
your passion for pizza trumps your passion for
man,
for working with insurance companies to get paid.
Oh,
You know?
exactly.
Definitely,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But I love helping people. It's something I think I'm pretty good. I've been doing it almost 30 years. So just my body's wearing out, and dough doesn't complain very much about pain. So
Not that we can hear, anyway.
yeah, not that we can hear, but I have a lot of fun. I love the science of it. I think my friends know.
Yeah.
I really dig in. I think I really
Yeah.
dig into the science of dough. And
Yeah, there's a few of us who
Straight
love to
goofy
geek out
nerd,
on
bro.
that on the science side.
Straight goofy nerd.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I like it, man. It's fun.
Well, and how about you, Nicole? Before you got into pizza, what was your gig?
I was working retail. I was pursuing my fashion merchandise. I'm not. I was pursuing my fashion merchandising degree. I wanted to work my way up in corporate. I enjoyed doing displays. The window displays were like my ultimate goal, is doing something like that on Fifth Avenue.
Cool.
Yeah.
Were you also modeling?
No. I did a teeny tiny stint of modeling, and my mom was so proud. Yeah. But no, not a model.
But you were in the fashion world.
I was in fashion.
And so what pulled you out of fashion and into pizza?
My dad opened the pizzeria, and so he asked me over pizza one night if I wanted to join the family business, and I said, no, I don't want to be a part of a family business, and I absolutely don't want to do restaurant because I have zero experience, and I find that completely awful. I just got drug into it, and I haven't really looked back, honestly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people, you sort of get in it, and then before you know it, you're like down the rabbit hole, and you don't want to get out. Even.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. I love the fact that I still get to do stuff with my hands. I'm more physically with my hands now than I was in retail, and then also like there's still that customer aspect, the customer relationship aspect that I still enjoy. Even though it's not always awesome because people like to complain. But I think what really kind of kept me in here was those days of people saying, like, I really love your pizza, or like the stories of people saying it took me back. Like we had one older gentleman one time a couple years back who was like nearly crying at the table because he had one of our Neapolitan pizzas and was telling us that it took him back to his grandmother in Naples.
Yeah, touch that
chord. And Jesus, I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. But you don't have to convince people to eat. You don't have to tell them that they look good in pizza. Trying to get people to buy things as far as like pants and shoes and clothes. It's all
much
very
easier
cosmetic.
Sale than selling fashion merchandise.
I've always been a very honest person, and I tell people very honestly, I'm like, are you really going to wear it? Because really, I mean, I was selling $150 pair of jeans. Like, are you really going to wear $150 pair of jeans? Like, honestly, are you going to wear this outside of it's cute today in the fitting room? Because I always had like buyer's remorse.
So you're breaking the rules of sales there by giving them a reality check. So
my bosses didn't like it, but I was a really great salesperson. But the thing is, like, you don't have to convince people to eat because it's a necessity. And I think that's what is so great about this industry, is that it's a necessity, and pizza is, I think, a love of everybody's. If you don't like pizza, I'm sorry, we can't be friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you found something that you love doing, and found out surprisingly how good you were at it.
I guess, yes.
How did you get into like competition pizzas and joining the team?
My brother started competitions first, and at the same time that we had met Tony at that little place in New York, I'd also met Laura that same day, and
Laura Meyer.
Yeah, we became friends, and I started seeing her more and more at like the competitions. So she finally one day was like, "Are you just gonna sit here and watch your brother compete, or are you actually gonna do it? Because I think you should." And she was like really egging me on. She was like, "Please don't let me be the only woman continuing to do this."
Right.
So that's kind of how I started my journey of making pizzas competitively. And the first time I did it was a nervous wreck, and then I did it, and I was like, "This is kind of fun."
Yeah.
So it just pushes you.
Yeah,
it pushes your boundaries, and I think that's kind of what we all love about it. Is like it's this thing that we get to kind of showcase of like, look at this cool thing that I've just done, and you get to share it with everybody else, and someone will take it back and put it on their menu.
So where is competing taking you over the years in terms of seeing the world?
We've gotten to go to Italy. A lot throughout the U.S. We've gone to quite a few places. I'm hoping it takes me a few more places around the world.
When you go to Italy for competitions,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And mainly what, Parma or Naples?
Parma, we're going to Naples this year. there was another one that was in London a couple years back, but just didn't work out for my schedule, which I was kind of sad about because I've not been to London
That's
yet.
Interesting. That
yeah,
would have been
but
cool. Yeah.
would be really cool.
When we say pizza competitions, no one's thinking London, but London is becoming quite a pizza.
Yeah, I mean, they're having quite this
place.
interesting turn of events as far as pizza goes, because I've garnered a lot of friends from the UK in the last few years, and there's a surgence coming.
And you've won medals at some of these competitions, right?
I have not won anything for pizza yet. I won one year for
fashion merchandise.
No, what was it? For the Caputo Cup, it was like a Rising Star Award.
Oh, yeah?
A couple years ago. I haven't won anything for pizza yet because Derek keeps winning. It's really hard to go up against
so
Derek.
You guys go up against each other sometimes, yeah. We'll get to that. I'm going to find out a little bit more about that because you both got into the competitive side of pizza making around the same time, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's right around.
I was you judged my first competition. So you scored me really well. So thank you, Peter Reinhardt. I appreciate you, bro.
Was that a
No, it was in New
Expo?
York. It was the first. It was when Norman Knapp won
at the Caputo Cup.
At the Caputo Cup.
Oh, that was your first one.
So my first one.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Well, it was 2015, right? Not that long ago.
It seemed like
crazy?
just yesterday, but yeah.
Crazy.
The pandemic years kind of has compressed time in a way. You know?
I was on pizzamaking.com researching this guy. I got invited to come here. Came here. Scott Wiener said, "Hey, go get some stuff and make a pizza. I want to try your pizza. I've been watching you, reading about you." I made a pizza in the Marsal booth. John Arena walks up, Scott Wiener, a couple other pizza guys. They ate my pizza and they're like, "Holy crap! You would have won this whole."
Do you remember
thing,
what
dude.
the pizza was?
Just a cheese pizza.
So
it's really well fermented.
It
was really and they're like, "Oh, you would have won this whole thing. You need to compete." Come to, and then John Arena emailed me and said, "You need to come compete in New York at the Naples at the Caputo Cup." I said, "All right."
Caputo Cup,
so showed up, got 6th, pretty good for a Texas boy with Texas water.
And that was the competition that Norma won. Norma won. It was not a professional. Well, she had a little farm market pizza booth,
right.
But she was like a woman of a certain age. She was not a kid. And nobody really knew her, and she came in and she just killed it.
Perfect. Loved it, man. It was awesome. Yeah.
I think Nino was in that same. Nino Coniglio, who's like won every award there is. He was in that same competition. She beat him. Yeah, it was cool that she won. And Well,
yeah, he wasn't happy that Texas boy beat him. That wasn't.
Well, yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and
don't mess with Texas, right?
That's right. So that got you on the road.
Got me on the road.
And on the team. You both ended up on the Pizza Champions team, right?
Yeah, natural competitor. I was, high school, college football, dabbled around in a little bit of pro stuff, got beat up, competitive person. Don't stick me in a competition, dude. I'm going to find out how to beat you.
You got the fire of do you feel that way too? Are you a fiery competitor? You feel like the need to win?
I mean, I grew up doing sports as well, so I think I, like Derek, had kind of that competitiveness in me. I've kind of learned that it's not necessarily about winning or losing. It's more about what you learn from it. And it's really hard to separate that because you go into it and you're like, I want to win. But it's not really about that anymore. It's more about like, what can I take away from this? How can I do better?
Yeah.
And that's winning. For me, that's winning.
Well, wanting to win drives you to do things better. If it's
heck yeah.
Yeah.
But for some people, it's like, I kind of like, it's kind of that accomplishment, and then they're just like, okay, I'm done. Mm-hmm. So I think I've learned to separate that and learn to learn.
I think too, like when you get around these competitors that are really passionate about making pizza, the attention to detail and how far they go to win is tremendous. I'm one of those kind of weird people. But you have to compete with some of the best, and that makes you better, right? So some of the stuff they do, you take it back home and you take it to your restaurant. So you saturate yourself with all of these great pizza makers and all of these great minds, and you take what's good and throw out what's bad.
Yeah.
And you bring that home, and it's really, we win when we're making a bunch of money in our pizzeria, right? We're sitting on a beach while our pizzeria is making a bunch of money.
That's a big win.
That's a win for me, right?
Yeah.
If it's winning a plate, that's cool. If that adds to that happening, I'm good for it,
And competing with great competitors, whether you win the award or not, just being there and being able to absorb what you learn from watching
these people are our friends.
Yeah. And-
when we're on the table against each other, we're going at it. But dude, they're our
they also
friends,
could be
we're
very
colleagues,
inspiring.
we're learning from each other. Steel sharpening steel. It's
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah.
That's a product.
Well,
of
that's
what
an
happens.
athlete talking right there. There's somebody who's
That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
You're both. Are you both native Texans?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you grew up in Texas, but are you able to incorporate any Texas food influences in the pizzas that you make?
Yeah.
And how do you do
my
that? What-
pizza
what
has
is
a
it?
twang when you talk to it. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Where I'm at, so a lot of Hispanic culture. So we'll do pizza with chorizo on it, jalapeno, cilantro.
Because you're right down in San Antonio.
We're Selma, so northeast San Antonio, right up 35.
Yeah. So you're pretty deep
just right outside.
in Texas. Yeah.
We can do a lot of stuff. Barbacoa on pizza. We've done a barbacoa Big Red pizza, messing around. They have a barbacoa Big Red festival. We can do stuff and get away with it. So, and I think Nicole has something. She wanted to kind of come up with a Texas pizza, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I've been like dying.
I'm
I've been
watching you,
dying
girl.
to do like a Texas style pizza because there isn't. I get asked this frequently
Yeah.
by many people of like, so what's the like Texas style pizza? I'm like, there isn't a Texas style pizza. And to throw barbecue on a pizza is not a Texas style pizza. I'm sorry, all you Texans out there, but it's not. It's fine to do it. I have no problems with it. I mean, we do barbecue style pizza all the time, but it doesn't set it apart. You know how like
Yes.
Chicago has 7 different styles of pizza, and
Yeah.
each of them are very different in their own way, and that differentiates like what a style is. It's about the crust, it's about the toppings, it's about
Yeah.
the regionality of it. But there's a history there,
Right.
and we don't have that in Texas.
Well, it
Peter,
takes-
what would-
it takes
I'm sorry,
time.
I want to ask you a question. What would you do as a base for a Texas style crust?
That's a great question.
Well, it is a good question because I was going to say this is a great thought exercise for us. Is okay if it's our task to create a Texas style pizza the way that there's a Detroit style and a St. Louis
Right.
style and a Chicago style and a New York style. What would it be? What would it look like? What would it taste like? And I would think that one of the elements of a Texas style crust would include either some masa or corn or some kind of native
See, I think like
Green
Texas toast, maybe.
oats.
Texas toast.
Toast?
Like a
Oh,
thick
yeah.
piece
Yeah,
of
that would be- you could use the
cornbreadish
Texas-
style. Texas something, right? So we can all collaborate and figure that one out together.
That could be
We'll figure it out.
a fun thing to do. It could be our mission now to create the next great pizza style. The quote
And then you have
Texas
to
style.
sell it. You
One
gotta
that-
convince
the one that has to-
everybody.
But then
It's gotta be fat and big.
Can we wait the 20 or so years for it to incubate in Texas before it breaks out?
Yeah,
beyond
and then I'll be
Texas?
like that tavern style guy going, I told you, you son of a gun, 1986, it's coming.
You should have stayed.
Should've listened to me.
You're right.
That's what'll happen.
Well, what would you do? If what are you thinking? I mean, I think that it's legit.
What
to
would
say,
I do? What crust would I do? What base?
Because we have to start with the crust. If we're going to make a style, it really begins with the crust, not the toppings.
Yeah.
The toppings are
It's
just
got to
working with
be
local ingredients. Anyone can do
Mexican-y,
that.
cowboy-y, right? Hippie,
It should have some
Austin-y,
crunch.
San
It
Antonio.
needs to have some crunch. It can't be a soft one.
For me, like
When you eat it, it's gotta be like, oh, this is
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of toppings on
Like-
there,
like
but
your
it's
accent.
Substantial, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have a heavy accent.
It's got to be heavy, but
But like
it's got to be hearty. Like
Yeah,
you got to
it's
have
gotta
a
be
hearty
like
pizza,
that.
like a barbecue sandwich, man, right?
Yes.
All that meat and sauce and onion and pickles and
What kind of crust could we make? Could we create that would kind of define?
and we'll use New York water, Peter.
Yeah,
That's what we'll
New
do.
York water. What kind of water do you have in Texas? Where does the water come from in Texas? Is it underground water?
We have
Is it
the
reservoir?
aquifer.
Yeah, you guys have aquifers.
Yeah, it's
We
great
have-
water.
we
I've done
have
all the
not
measurements
great
on it.
water. I mean, well, I'm like 45 minutes from the coast, so
Yeah.
There's a lot of lime in our water. It's not great. Pretty hard.
Lime, yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard water. So do you have to do you treat it at
Yes.
all to use it?
Yeah.
Okay, so but getting back to the crust. So if there's going to be a Texas, here we got 2 Texans. Let's create something that nobody's
Yeah, man, let's
ever
do it.
done yet.
Nicole Bean's going to win the next world championship with
Yeah,
Texas
actually,
style.
you're gonna show up at one of the competitions with a pie
Yeah.
no one's seen before.
Yeah,
and
Texas
they're gonna
style.
go,
All the judges will be like, "What?
is
What's
this?
this? Oh,
I gotta
wow."
know how to do this,
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it goes national, and you could say, yeah, it started right here in Texas. So I don't know. I'm just
Oh,
thinking
I got
out
it.
loud.
A
What?
There
Detroit
you go.
style with like corn in it. like a cornbread Detroit,
like chunks of corn.
There is
chunks
Goes in,
with
comes
the
out the
sweet.
same way?
Would it
Yeah.
be corn, sweet corn, or would it be like polenta style corn?
No,
or
it has to be like sweet.
You gotta have sweet corn
Yeah.
in the crust itself?
in the crust.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that would certainly. It would be hard to get it.
Polenta in our area. Do you?
Could it be smoked corn? Could it be corn that's been
Roasted corn would be
roasted?
good.
Yeah, roasted and
corn in
has a
there.
little char in it and everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
And then so that you line the pan with that. That becomes almost part of the base. And then when you bake it,
All that
would it be in a
sweet
pan?
goes in-
Would it be
yeah.
a pan pizza?
It'd have to be a pan, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would for fat, would we use like lard or something else? Huh? Lard would be
Yeah.
that would be authentic
Bacon lard, son. Bacon lard.
Bacon lard. So it'd be a little smoky.
It'd be interesting,
All
right?
right, we're creating something.
We're working. Here we go. You're
all
gonna
right.
you're gonna be a judge back there going.
I'm gonna.
I gotta pretend like I don't know who this is, but this is badass, right?
So I want to see it next year's competition. I want
Right.
to see somebody.
That'd be pretty cool,
display
wouldn't it?
A pizza that
Let's do
when
it.
when they say what do you
Come on.
call it? You say it's Texas style.
Texas
Find
style.
a Texas shaped pan.
In a Texas shaped pan.
So if
It's
you
on.
And so if you would have
It's
like
on.
a
Hey, hun,
cheese frico,
find us a
would it
Texas
have
shaped
a-
pan on Amazon. It's on.
I don't know if it would necessarily need like a frico. You know, like I don't know if it would need that.
No frico.
There
like
is-
a cornbread side, like a little
Yeah,
charred cornbread
Like,
side.
but a
you want,
crunchy
like,
cornbread
that
side.
kind of,
Yeah.
like, crisp edge to it. I don't know. I'm really big on cornbread. I love cornbread.
Let's do it. We'll figure it out.
Me too. I think that
You want to
you've got
slice now,
a
don't you?
start on an idea.
I do
If you
too.
could just take it to the next level. The next time we get you on Pizza Quest, we're going to say, okay, where is the Texas pizza now
do it.
in its evolution? And
I'll come to
and when
H-E-B
does it-
with you,
and
bro,
when will it debut?
We'll do a little show. Put some apricot on that sucker. We'll be good, dude.
I think that'd be a good exercise for anybody who's listening, no matter where they live, to think about is where I live. If there isn't already a definitive pizza where I live, because some people are already living in a city like Detroit or Chicago, but if I'm living somewhere that doesn't have one, what would I create that would put
Yeah.
my area on the map for having created a distinctive? Yeah, even in Pennsylvania, there's a couple different styles of pizza that tried to break out of those areas, but they don't. They stay right there. And sometimes a pizza needs years and years to incubate before it breaks out of the cocoon. But with events like Pizza Expo, where you have competitions, that's another way that something can accelerate its pace if it's ready, if its time has come.
Yeah,
like it has
this is
for
a good
the
test for it for sure.
It's like Texas is so hard because it's such a big state, and where Derek is vastly different from where I am. Houston's a very international city, so we have a lot of Asian influence, a lot of French influence. I mean, we have people from all over the world, so there's not really like a very set way, like Derek talks about doing chorizo and jalapeno and having like a lot of spices.
Yep.
Well, they have a lot of Hispanic influence down there. We do too, but it's not as predominant.
Yeah, right, it's a big state, so there's
Yeah,
different
so it's
regions
really
within the
hard
regions.
to like pinpoint like this is the one that defines us all.
Yes, you can't define the whole state of Texas
It's
by one
really
thing.
challenging.
We're gonna
Yeah.
try.
We're-
try
yeah,
right
we're
There could be a
gonna try.
Southeast Texas style, an Eastern Texas style, but
No
and there's a-
alligator in it. You
Yeah.
never know. We got
Oh
so
my
many.
God, putting alligator on pizza would be crazy.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Texas with alligator pizza.
Oh my God, that would be fucking
but
crazy.
without the crust, it doesn't matter what you put on top.
Exactly.
So unless you're going to put alligator in the crust, which I don't, maybe alligator cracklings.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some alligator tail cracklings.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out.
well, I look forward to that. That'd be fun. It's kind of fun brainstorming
Yeah.
Yeah.
creating something out of nothing, which is kind of another thing that's going on in the pizza world right now, is that the creativity abounds, that everybody is free. Maybe over the last few years, everyone's become free to think outside the box and to not have to be bound by these are the rules. Traditional pizza means this. We still have those rules for all the categories in the competition. There's what is it? There's traditional,
Traditional, non-traditional, pan,
pan, and Neapolitan.
and Neapolitan, yeah.
Those are the kind of the main ones.
Yeah. And they've gotten stricter over the years. I mean, last year was
Traditional's very hard.
it's gotten harder.
Traditional's very hard.
I mean,
wait.
last year was the first time that I did Neapolitan last year at competition. That was the first year ever that they made us weigh out the dough. Yeah, and I mean, usually you'll find that in Italy, but not here.
Ah.
So I think like the rules are changing, but I think they're getting better.
But then if you have a really good structured rule set, then you can be creative within that rule set. It forces you to become more creative, to think creatively and not just kick back to the old cliche, pepperoni pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
And so
my tradition was caramelized onion with veal and pork sausage, right? So sweet and spicy and salty, and I try to get those elements in my pizza. So it's it sounds super easy, but it was kind of hard to pull off.
Well, since you brought that up, let's talk about the pizza that you created for the book.
All right. Cool.
And maybe tell her, let me have that sheet of paper there, because that's got my notes. There you go.
Named it the Rita Bella after my mom. Right? My mom's Italian, Northern Italian. She grew up during World War II, and she used to sit in the apricot trees and cherry trees and watch bombs drop. And they thought that was really cool. They had no idea what it was. So my mom loved bacon as well. Wow. So I was putting together a pizza. I went to your class. I came home after your class. It was at HEB. You were teaching a class on focaccia.
Yeah.
I went, and then you put some Morello cherry preserve on the focaccia, and I said, "Wait a minute, that's kind of good. Let me kind of mess with that, And I got that Morello cherry, probably about 6-7 jars. HEB owed me some money, and I started messing with them. Like it was too tart for what I was trying to do.
So you still have 6 of those jars left.
So I got that's right. So I got some apricot preserve and started messing with it. And dude,
you made the leap. Yeah, you figured out, okay, it didn't work with the cherry, but I could make it work with apricot.
Right. My wife, I was like, hey, try this. So I was using crackers just to try, like some Ritz crackers.
Uh-huh.
I put a piece of bacon and then some apricot preserves, and she was like, oh, this is it. This is it. And then I started making it and really getting into the fermentation of Roman, high hydration dough, Roman. I said, I think this is a perfect base for this style of topping. So they opened up a Roman competition. Texas boy goes in there and beats a bunch of Italians, and they were not happy. But that's life.
You did this where, in Italy?
Oh, it was at the first Roman competition here at Expo.
At Expo, okay.
And Poselli sent their team, I think Orlando Foods, and they paid all these Italians to come. And when I won, I think 2 people clapped for me. They're like,
because
this son of a bitch.
How does he win? Yeah, right.
It's not the Roman anymore. Yeah. It's like we've gone to Japan.
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, they just canceled the Roman. Don't let a Texan win the Roman pizza, right?
That's right. But it's kind of like Tony winning the Neapolitan in Naples,
Yeah, they don't like to lose.
Yeah, Tony. Really it's funny because Tony came up to me and goes, "You just beat like the best people in the world. Good job, baby. You kicked their ass." And I said, "Thank you, bro."
He could relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah, he thought that was awesome. So that pizza that I made here at Expo when I won, it was phenomenal, dude. It was like light as air. Everything was perfect.
Now, is the pizza in the
gods
book,
were laughing.
Is the pizza in the book modeled on the one that you won the competition with?
Say again?
Is the pizza in the book
I had to make it. This is a different picture.
No, but I mean, the pizza is the model, the one that you entered.
This is the one I made at the competition.
And so the Rita Bella is basically what you won the competition with.
That's what I won the competition with.
And so the unique qualities within that, aside from a great crust, was that you had. Okay, let's go back through some of those. So the apricot and bacon.
So I fermented my crust with apricots.
Wow.
So I did a fruit starter, right? I created a Polish with it, and then added that to my dough. So it was super high hydration anyways, and then I fermented it that way.
Wow.
So it kind of had this hint of like apricot liqueur, right, honey? It had a little light hint of this alcohol sugar.
Checking with his wife who's listening.
I'm trying to remember the flavor, but the alcohol
behind every
sugars,
great pizza maker, there's the wife who made it happen.
The alcohol sugars that are produced when we're fermenting it fermented these nice alcohol sugars.
Yeah.
When I fermented it with that fruit.
So that was
so
unique.
When the judge ate it, he goes, "Did you put like apricot liquor in this?" Or I said, "No, it's just fermented with apricot." And he goes, "Oh wow!" And I got him. I knew I had him. It blew him away.
Yeah.
And so the crust
definitely
had
points for creativity right there. Yeah.
This crust had this apricot ferment flavor in it. It was really good, man. I got so lucky because when you turn one in like that, you have a real chance.
Yeah. And so what was on top?
I used Fontina, which has that smoky, nutty flavor, right? I used a little bit of I used some fresh mozz, the Fontina, a little bit of roasted pecan. I wanted to add that more nutty flavor to the Fontina. Some rocket arugula, some sweet basil, my peppered bacon. That peppered bacon was smoked, and we did that bacon.
That's right.
And then the apricot preserve. So I bought the apricot preserve for that one. I didn't home make that one. So
yeah, wow, what a concept, right? You talk about swinging for the fences.
Sweet, spicy,
Yeah.
salty.
Yeah, going for all
Umami.
the flavor notes.
That's
yeah.
right.
And you nailed it.
Perfect crust. And I got lucky and nailed one.
And the Italians won't talk to you anymore.
No, they have a picture of me on their wall, bro, with
a big,
big old bullseye on it.
Yeah.
Kill Sanchez.
So Nicole, you entered yesterday or today you entered the Neapolitan category or traditional?
I did Pan Division this year.
Pan Division.
Yes,
here?
yeah.
You don't know the results yet.
No, I don't know the results yet. No, I just kind of got dumped into it. My husband registered us all, and that was the one I was in. I had actually Rob Cervoni text me, and he was like, "Hey, I saw you're in Pan." I was like, "I am."
You didn't even know.
So no, I honestly it was kind of a last minute. I had no plans to compete this year, honestly.
Sometimes you win like that.
Yeah.
You're more relaxed. You're like, let's go.
No,
Yeah,
this whole show's been really chaotic.
So what was your pizza? What was the?
I did a beet dough and
with beet juice. Or beet
yeah.
pulp?
So I roasted beets and then I basically kind of pureed them in water with an emulsion blend.
Wow.
So it's pink.
And
Inherently.
then you poured that as your liquid into the flour?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you hydrated the dough with beet liquid,
Yes.
beet puree.
Yeah, about 72% hydration.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have tasted uniquely original.
You know, it doesn't taste very beety
No.
at all. No, I mean a lot of that flavor gets baked out once you bake, so there's not a whole lot to it. You know.
Well,
It's
it sounds
fine.
So I wish I would have been there for the unveiling of that one. Could you tell when you presented the pizza and reactions? Do you get a sense when you're in these competitions from the way the judges look at it or the audience looks at it, whether you've...
Yeah, so I had to push out my dough in front of the judges this morning so they could see that I'm not like par baking. They want to see you push it out, kind of like they do in Italy. And I was walking around with it because I didn't want to leave it anywhere. And I kind of set it over next to one of the booths where it was a little warmer because I was cooking in one of the booths this morning. And people kept stopping me like, what is that? What is it? And as I was making it, people kept, swarming around, asking a lot of questions. What is it? It's pink. So it's really like, what is that? It's a kind of a wow factor. I know it could have gone a little bit further in the fermentation process because I'm sure you can answer this question. In fact, I've been dying to ask you. Because I did tests on this previous to this, not because I was practicing for this, but because I made this randomly. I had extra beets. I didn't want to waste them. But if it didn't ferment long enough, it lost the coloration in the middle once it was baked, which I found very odd. So one test I did was in like an 8-hour fermentation. When it baked, it was yellow in the middle, pink on the outside. After about 24 to 36 hours, it baked pink all the way through. Same process, just longer fermentation.
Huh.
And I'm not sure why it does that. Okay, see, I knew Dr. Derek would know.
So Dr. Sanchez was going to he'll break that down for us
Well,
at some
I don't
point.
know. We'll do it.
Yeah.
But as you know, Peter, we have to bake our dough when it's mature.
Yes.
Right, past maturity. I see that's what a lot of people don't understand. They let their dough go past maturity, it over ferments, or it's under fermented.
Yeah.
We have to do what the French and Germans do, and if we're going to make the best bread in the world,
Right.
or like Peter Reinhardt,
You have
best
to
bread
have
in the world.
the timing has to be just right. Yeah.
It is, man. So we have to know our dough enough to know when it's mature. And when it's mature, it's ready to go. And it's not going to wait on you sometimes.
There you go. Well, we could talk about this all day. We could geek out, but I think that we're being drowned out by the end of the day.
They're playing
pizza
music
party.
as the break.
Today
our
is
background.
the wind down pizza party for everybody. So why don't we'll reconvene another time on another episode of Pizza Quest. But I want to thank both of you for joining us today for the first stages of creating a definitive Texas pizza, which we're going to see develop over the next year or so. I want to see it in competition, and good luck on the current competition that you're in, and also you're going to Naples for the competition?
Yes, I'll be going to. Are you going to Naples? with me?
We'll see.
And you're competing in Naples?
Yeah, I'm competing in Naples.
So that's coming up in just a few weeks.
No, so that one's the next one in a few weeks is Parma. Naples
that's
will be
fine.
in
June.
In June.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got a little time
Are
to
you
get that
going
one
to
ready.
Naples, Peter?
I unfortunately not. I wish, but
All right.
no, I don't get to try.
Hey,
I don't
thank
get to
you
get all
for
those.
what you do for the pizza community.
And my pleasure.
It means a lot. I read
get
your
a lot
book
of joy out of
many
it.
years ago, American Pie, right? That's how you start.
Yeah.
And it's just thank you for what you do, man. It really means a lot to us, man.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys for being a big part of this exciting pizza community. This is, I call the people that come here is sort of part of a large tribe, and it's the tribe of pizza freaks. And and it's very generous and very I don't know, it's family. It's a really family feeling here.
No doubt.
So I'm just feel honored to be a part of it myself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Keep up the great work. And thank you all for listening to Pizza Quest. Join us again next week for another episode. And Derek and Nicole, best of success going forward.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Pizza Quest. A number of the conversations you will hear this season were recorded over a 2-day period during the 2023 International Pizza Expo held in Las Vegas, Nevada. These recordings would not have been possible without the help of many people and our generous underwriters, but I'd like to take a moment now to especially thank some of the unsung heroes. My Pizza Quest partners, Jeff Michael and Brad English, our HRN recording producer, Liam Werner, as well as HRN's Matt Patterson and Joanna Garnett-Reipold, and also Alexander Mortati of Orlando Foods, who organized and coordinated the schedules of many of our guests to get them to our recording table throughout the expo. Thank you to all of you. Pizza Quest is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.